Hey, how's it going? Brian from Zombie Guitar here. Basically, I wanted to make this video in response to some things that I saw on Reddit. Basically, someone shared my chord tone soloing part 1 video, and I see some people are still a little confused as to why you would use chord tones or when you would use chord tones. Some people say that they don't think that chord tones work, or chord tones may not be particularly suited for their style of music, or whatever. I also saw some people seem to have confusion with how to create lead lines or melody lines incorporating the idea of chord tones. Okay, they seem to not understand basically how certain chords are within a key. Okay, and then there's also a scale, an underlying scale that is the key. Okay, so basically I want to try and clear up all of these questions or any confusion that there may be regarding this. So basically in this video I'm just going to kind of make up a lead line, or I'm going to make up a melody line, and we're going to kind of work through it, what the thought process may be that goes into it and all that, and hopefully that helps clear up any confusion. So basically I'm just going to solo over a chord progression that is G major to D major to C major. Okay, I have that stored in my looper pedal. It sounds like this. Okay, so that's nice and slow. The chords are held out for a long period of time. It gives you plenty of time to think, all right? So that is in the key of G major, all right? That's the 1, 4, and 5 chords in the key of G major, all right? The G major scale contains 7 notes, all right? The 7 notes that are in the G major scale are G, A, B, C, D, E, and F sharp. Those are the 7 notes that comprise the G major scale. Now, the G major scale can be played all up and down the entire fretboard, okay? You can play the G major scale in this position, you can play it in this position, you can play it here, here, okay? Here's the G major scale here. You can play it in 2 octaves. Okay, you can play it here. You can play it here. Okay, the G major scale can be played anywhere on the guitar. You can span the entire fretboard, okay? So those are your available notes. If you just wanted to use the G major scale notes over top of that particular chord progression and just improvise, that's fine. You can do so all you want. Let's try that out and see how that sounds. Okay, so I'm just playing randomly through the scale, and that's fine. You know, that's completely fine. Lots of guitar players do that. I consider that to be what I refer to as the scalar approach. Okay, I talk about on my website all the lessons that are under the scalar approach, section of my website. Goes over just how to play scales over top of a chord progression. Okay, but with this chord tone soloing stuff, basically you want to select notes within the scale, within that G major scale, that are the chord tones of the underlying chords. Okay, so as the G major chord is occurring in that chord progression, you want to narrow down your focus. Okay, narrow down your focus of, now you have this whole scale, which is 7 notes found all over the fretboard. You want to narrow your focus down to just 3 of those 7 notes. Okay, so the 3 notes that make up the G major chord are the note G, the note B, and the note D. Okay, so as the G major chord is occurring within this progression, and you wanted to find the best sounding notes, not always the best, okay? You don't always have to play chord tones. You can do whatever you want. You can be as creative as you want. But more often than not, if you want to find the best sounding, notes, you want to kind of select either the G, the B, or the D as the G major chord is occurring. So I'm just going to kind of just noodle around on the fretboard within that G major scale, and I'm going to try and hit chord tones now, okay? So as the G major chord is occurring, I'm going to try and land on a note that is in the G major chord, okay? G, B, or D. As the D major chord is occurring, okay, I'm going to try and land on, a note that is D, F sharp, or A. Those are the three notes that make up the D major chord. As the C major chord is occurring, I'm going to try and land on a C, E, or G, okay? And you're going to find that I use other scalar notes in between as kind of like my paths, okay? I can walk from chord tone to chord tone, but usually on the downbeat, as the chord change happens, that's when I want to hit the chord tone, okay? So just try and, watch what I do and see if it sounds any different than what I did previously. Alright, so whatever, that was kind of a on-the-fly improvisation. I'm a little better at composing solos than I am at improvising solos. But the point is, I was trying to more often than not outline the chord shapes rather than just randomly playing through the scale. And I was also trying to, as I was walking through the scales, I wanted to make sure that I was aware of where the next chord shape was before it happened. So as I was kind of soloing on the G chord, I knew the next chord coming up was the D chord, okay? So wherever I happened to be, all right, if I happen to be in this particular area of the guitar, soloing around, noodling around, I knew the D chord's coming up, so I know that the shape is here. Okay, I have that D shape available to me here, or I have this D shape available to me here, okay? So as I'm noodling around, I'm thinking, okay, D chord is coming up. All right, so just be aware that those are where my chord tones are, okay? And this takes practice, this takes a lot of time, it takes a lifetime to master it all, okay? So over my years of playing, I started out just getting really good at just running through the scales. It wasn't until many years into my playing that I started to refine my scalar thinking and, basically start to look deeper within the scales and start targeting these chord tones, okay? And the way I do that is just through practice, playing with a looper pedal, just jamming over backing tracks as much as possible, and just keeping in your mind what the chord progression is, okay? As you're soloing through the scales, if you're not already good at that, you might want to get good at that first before you start worrying about this chord tone stuff, okay? But after you get good at that, then, start being one step ahead. Think, okay, the next chord that's coming up is the, say, A major chord, if you happen to be playing in whatever chord progression you're playing, okay? A major chord's coming up. I'm improvising, all right? I know there's an A major chord here, okay? Or I know there's an A major chord here. All right, so if I'm in this particular area, A major chord's coming up, I know where my chord tones are, okay? I know where to land on in order to connect my lead playing with the, rhythm. So that's basically that for this lesson. It isn't the most organized, structured lessons like most of my lessons are, but this is just kind of in response to what I saw on Reddit and what I see that some people may be a little confused on. So I like doing stuff like this, so if anyone has any other questions, feel free to hit me up, and I'll gladly make a video for you. Thanks a lot.